cooperation with Nigeria to promote and develop commerce.
About fourth night after assumption, new Nigerian President Bazoum visits Nigeria.
I have taken over at a very crucial time, and I am fully aware of the situation in the country.
We will introduce new measures to improve internal security. Acting Inspector General of Police pledges as Zonal Police Headquarters comes under attack in Anambra.
That was very, very unfortunate because it is not true.
No money was printed to augment March 2021 FAC, Finance Minister insists. Hello, this is ATA Network News. We are live in Abuja. I am Kenan Ima Abodike. Adela Komiakere is in Lagos. Thank you for joining us. We begin from the State House, where Nigeria and the Republic of Niger have resolved to deepen and expand the highly beneficial ties between the two neighboring countries for the benefit of their people and economies. This was the high point of the high-level talks between President Muhammadu Buhari and the new President of Republic of Niger, Mohamed Bazoum. President Buhari, in particular, promised to do whatever it takes towards stabilizing the region for the good of all. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
Visiting Nigeria is the first international trip by the Nigerian leader Mohamed Bazoum since coming to office in his country's first democratic transfer of power on the 2nd of this month. The relationship between President Buhari's Nigeria and the Republic of Niger under former President Muhammadu Isufu was very cordial and indeed highly beneficial for the two countries and their people. President Bazoum is here as part of efforts by the new administration to not only sustain but further deepen and expand the relations in other critical areas of common interest. And this dominated discussions between the two leaders held behind closed doors. At the meeting were the governors of Borno, Yobe, Kano, Kebbi, Jigawa, Sokoto and Zamfara states, as well as the Ministers of Foreign Affairs and Defense and the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources. President Buhari, who congratulated President Bazoum for his successful inauguration into office, assured him that Nigeria would continue to assist Niger in diverse ways as required. On terrorism as perpetrated by Boko Haram, President Buhari observed that the Republic of Niger also suffers high casualties and vowed to spare no efforts at securing the region for sustainable development. Briefing newsmen after the meeting, the Nigerian leader, Mohamed Bazoum, appreciated President Buhari for his leadership in the sub-region and continued support to his country over the years. He made a case for sustained collaboration and cooperation between Nigeria and the Republic of Niger, especially in the fight against insecurity as well as infrastructure and economic development.
Des relations commerciales très intenses. Nous avons les mêmes intérêts économiques.
There's a joint commission, the Nigeria and Niger joint commission, and that hopes that President Muhammadu Buhari will also push for this joint commission to come up with concrete projects and proposals for the two countries to pursue. There's a railway line from Maradi to Katsina, which is also part of integrating the economies of the two countries. And that now Niger is going to become an oil exporting country. And so also increasing cooperation with Nigeria to promote and develop commerce for the advantage of the two countries.
President Bazoum identified agriculture, mining, and industrial development as priority areas of focus for his administration. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari this evening hosted his visiting counterpart from the Republic of Niger, Mohamed Bazoum, to an iftar dinner. The State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that this is aimed at sharing the blessings of Ramadan, as well as promote harmony and mutual understanding between Nigeria and Niger. The Nigerian leader received President Bazoum and his delegation at the State House Mosque, where the breaking of the Ramadan fast started with customary dates and water before the congregational evening prayers. Joining the president at the event were his chief of staff, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, and the ministers of Foreign Affairs and Defense, as well as Minister of State for Petroleum Resources. Also present includes the National Security Advisor and Director General of the National Intelligence Agency. President Bazoum of Niger had on his entourage that country's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Deputy Chief of Staff, and the Ambassador to Nigeria, among others. President Muhammadu Buhari has extended his heartfelt condolences to President Idris Deby Itno of Chad over the ethnic clashes in the southeastern region of Salamat that claimed several lives. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, stated that ethnic and tribal clashes is a threat to African unity and stability, and Nigeria joins the rest of Africa to deplore the latest eruption of violence in Chad. The President urged African leaders to manage their diversity with tolerance and understanding, stating a threat to stability in one part of Africa is a threat to the rest of Africa. Also, President Buhari commiserates with President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the government and people of Egypt, over the train accident in northern Cairo that killed dozens of people and injured 98 others. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has condoled with the government and people of Benue State over the tanker explosion that left several people dead in Agatu local government area of the state. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, quoted the President saying he is worried by the frequency of the tanker explosion incidents on public roads or residential areas and urges the road traffic authorities and transportation ministries to urgently address the problem. The Acting Inspector General of Police, Usman Al-Kali Babar, has been tasked to bring his wealth of experience to bear towards tackling head-on and mitigating the internal challenges of security confronting Nigeria. President Muhammadu Buhari gave the marching at a strategic engagement with the new police chief. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the details.
This is the first formal engagement between President Muhammadu Buhari and the Acting Inspector General of Police, Usman Al-Kali Baba. The new police chief assumed office on the 7th of this month when President Muhammadu Buhari was in the UK. He is therefore here alongside the Minister of Police Affairs, Muhammad Magari Dingyadi, to formally say thank you to the President for the trust and confidence reposed in him. President Muhammadu Buhari, who congratulated the new appointee, however, said his appointment can only be justified if peace, law and order reign supreme across Nigeria. The president described the prevailing internal security situation as unacceptable.
I have taken over at a very crucial time, and I am fully aware of the situation in the country, and I am introducing what I feel will mitigate these security challenges in the country, and I have started implementing them, and I'm ready to come and brief the president so that we can get all the support that is necessary.
Nigerians are worried over the renewed attacks on police formations in parts of the country. What can you tell them?
What we are having at the moment is a very serious challenge, and I want to assure Nigerians that with the new setup that we have now on the ground, we will make sure that we improve the situation to the best of our ability so that Nigerians will see the changes that are already on the ground.
And how do you intend to do that?
Well, we intend to do it by ensuring that we have adequate equipment, we have adequate personnel, and we improve the training and the welfare of the police so that we motivate them to do more. As you are aware, the morale of many police officers has been seriously dampened now because of the rampant killings of police officers, because of the raising down of most of our officers. So we need to do a kind of motivational work to ensure that we raise the morale of the police. And this we have started, and I believe it's going to yield a positive result.
When confirmed, Usman Alkali Baba will be Nigeria's 21st Indigenous Inspector General of Police. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Still on security matters, the Zonal Police Headquarters, Zone 13, Okpo, Anambra State, has been attacked by suspected gunmen with offices and operational vehicles in the premises destroyed. Odo Okoronkwo-Chukwu has details.
Zone 13 Police Headquarters, located along Enugu-Onitsha Expressway, is about 10 kilometers away from the state capital, Awka. It came under the attack in the early hours of today. NTA News gathered that about 20 unknown gunmen allegedly set the security outposts and some offices ablaze. Operational vehicles in the premises were also touched. The prompt intervention of the Anambra State Fire Service secured the rest of the building from being razed. Unconfirmed report has it that about 2 policemen in the zone died as a result of the attack. Efforts to reach the zonal police public relations officer on situation report and what transpired as the zone failed. NTA News will keep updating you as the story develops. In Awka, Udo Okoronkwo-Chukwu, NTA News.
In the related developments, the Uzuakoli Divisional Police Station in Bende, local government area of Abia State, was attacked by some unspecified gunmen. According to the State Police Public Relations Officer Jeffrey Obuna, officers of the division were able to repel and prevent the gunmen from cutting away arms and ammunition during the attack, but they, however, succeeded in setting some offices and vehicles packed within the premises on fire. 2 detainees in the police station were also set free by the gunmen.
This is the 3rd time a police station is being attacked in Abia State since the EndSARS protest, where 2 officers were beheaded. Briefing journalists in his office after visiting the attacked Divisional Police Headquarters, Uzakol, the Abia State Police Command's Police Public Relations Officer, SP Geoffrey Obonna, says the unknown gunmen launched the attack on the police facility at early hours of Monday, the 19th day of April 2021.
It's unfortunate that this morning at about 0258 hours, one of our police stations, precisely Ozakoli police station, came under attack by yet to be identified armed men. Men on duty were able to repel the attack.
The police spokesman further said the hoodlums were prevented from gaining access to the police armory, but they succeeded in setting ablaze vehicles and motorcycles inside the facility, including a lorry parked outside. They also set free suspects under detention before fleeing.
There is no arrest now, but we are making efforts to ensure we get at the root or get the people that are behind this dastardly act.
The Abia State Police Command is appealing to the members of the public to assist security agents with useful information. In Umahia, Kingsley Onaniwu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Police Affairs, Mohammed Maigari Dingyadi, has condemned the attack at Zone 13 headquarters of the Nigerian Police Force, Awka, Anambra State, and Uzuakoli Police Station in Abia State. The minister, in a statement, commended the police for repelling the attack, leading to recovery of 1 general-purpose machine gun used by the hoodlums. The minister describes the act as terrorism and as shows of intelligence-led kinetic operations in the southeast to flush out illicit weapons and neutralize persons bent on threatening peace and stability in the southeast and Nigeria. He solicited deep partnership between the police and the public to expose criminals in the region. Away from security matters now, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has urged the United States to lend its weight to the call for a just global transition to zero emissions, lead the effort to ensure easy access to COVID-19 vaccine by all countries, and generally reset its foreign policy agenda with the African continent in ways that bring about economic prosperity, increased security, and improved governance. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Speaking of the theme, African-U.S. re-engagement and new foreign policy agenda, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says African countries have already made commitment towards implementing the Paris Climate Change Agreement target and indices and working towards achieving them.
So I think that a resetting of U.S. foreign policy agenda with Africa should promote a partnership that brings about economic prosperity, increases security, combats disease, improves governance, and mitigates the effects of climate change.
The Vice President in recent times has been advocating for a just transition to net zero emissions, particularly calling on multilateral agencies and Western countries to stop the planned defunding of gas projects in developing countries.
The United States, of course, is an acknowledged global leader in economic and military terms, as well as through its contributions to the norms that shape the global order. So I think that the U.S. could work with Africa, either under the auspices of the Africa Union, or indeed through individual countries like Nigeria, to build a better world. Africa should not be seen or used as a pawn in the great power games, nor as an arena in the contest to secure strategic minerals and natural resources, but rather as a partner in building a more secure, a more peaceful and prosperous world.
The program was the 2021 Johns Hopkins University's African Studies Program Conference with the theme African-US Re-Engagement and in Foreign Policy Agenda. In the State House, Jude Onifade, NT News.
You're watching the NTA Network News. Let's pause for some messages. We'll be right back. Thank you for staying with us. Finance Minister Zainab Ahmed has insisted that the federal government did not print money to fund FAC allocation to states last month.
In the month of March, we had a shortfall of FAC that is almost about 50 billion. And we didn't have enough accrued in any of those accounts other than some 8.5 billion that we took from exchange rate differential account. So we added that and we ended up with a FAC of 605 billion. An average FAC that is healthy for us is 650 billion naira. So it means we had a shortfall of about 50 billion. The states, to be honest, wanted us to go borrow from the central bank to augment FAC. So we had a FAC that ran through 3 days because we couldn't agree, but we resisted doing that. So we didn't borrow from the central bank. We insisted that the FAC should be shared as is. When we had buffers, we borrowed to augment it, but we didn't. So we just thought everybody should go back and scale back and rearrange how they managed their affairs to be able to live within what we had. So it was very surprising for us when we had a sitting governor saying that CBN had printed money for FAC. That was very, very unfortunate because it is not true.
Let's now tell you that all tiers of government must cut down on non-essential expenditure in order to help defray the cost of providing critical infrastructure and social amenities for Nigerians. Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning Zainab Ahmed says to this effect, President Buhari has constituted a presidential committee on the review of salaries to scale down federal expenditure. Lydia Sampson reports.
Challenges are not peculiar to Nigeria as the world continues to battle the COVID-19 pandemic. The finance minister noted that despite economic vulnerabilities, revenue performance is more than 70%, with a revenue to GDP target of 15% as outlook. However, frugal spending, she says, is the way to go for economic sustainability.
We have very limited revenue, and we have to use whatever money we borrow very, very wisely. We must review our expenditure patterns. We're just spending too much and we're not generating enough.
The minister also gave reasons for the nation's debt profile, which she says is within sustainable limit.
What we've done so far is to try to just provide some stability, to make sure salaries are paid, that pensions are received every month, that we send funds to the judiciary and the legislature, that we meet our debt service obligations. So that's what we're doing. But it also means that we have had to borrow more than we had planned before the COVID-19 started, because we need to still continue to invest in infrastructure using our capital budget.
Other economic experts on the program advocated increased patronage of made-in-Nigerian goods and the need for caution in borrowing.
What we need to do in terms, given what government has been doing, in trying to manage this situation, is for us to, first of all, enlighten ourselves. So I think government has to do a lot more in carrying every Nigerian along, in making Nigerians realize that this is a problem, global problem, and this problem is not just a governmental problem, it's everybody's problem.
Let us see how we manage the stock that we have at this point in time, while the government is implementing measures to grow revenue so that the burden becomes less.
There was consensus for strong fiscal buffers and sustainable economic reforms, as well as greater sensitization of Nigerians to understand government efforts at keeping the Nigerian economy afloat. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Let's go to oil and gas, where the Petroleum Tanker Drivers Association has suspended its ongoing strike following intervention by the Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, Mele Kyari. The GMD says NNPC will continue engagement with key players in the downstream to mitigate distribution challenges and promote business sustainability. Lydia Sampson again reports.
Following disagreements with the Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners on issue of increased remuneration, Petroleum Tanker Drivers Association have resolved to mitigate challenges in the downstream after the intervention of the NNPC. The GMD Mele Kyari convened the interface with key players to nip the issue in the bud.
We have given commitment to both NATO and PTD that we will resolve the underlying issues within a week and come back to the table so that we'll have a total closure around the dispute.
Based on the commitment we have received from the Group Managing Director, we are going to ensure within the next 7 days that we are given that things will normalize and all necessary adjustments to their allowances will be discussed.
Our action is hereby suspended until another 7 days, which was promised by the Group Managing Director, NNPC.
After a prolonged closed-door meeting, they resolved to reconvene in 1 week for final resolution of the impasse. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
And in line with the federal government's Gas to Power initiative, the Department of Petroleum Resources is intensifying efforts towards onboarding of electricity generating companies, GENCOs, to the Gas Transportation Network Code. DPR Director Awal Sariki at a stakeholder engagement at Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission says all identified grey areas will be aligned to fast-track complete migration. Once again, here is Lydia Sampson.
August 2020, the DPR launched the Gas Transportation Code to provide seamless access for stakeholders to harness Nigeria's huge untapped gas resources. The Gas to Power initiative of the federal government is key in this respect, necessitating the engagement with key players, where the candid discussion is expected to chart a way forward for electricity generation in the country.
We need to really change the history. There is need for power in this country, and it is for us to rewrite the history of our nation. And to do that, we can't be doing things for 30 years, no change. So that is why the transport code is very necessary and key enabler for getting the power to people.
They need to have a minimum guarantee that we provide a comfort for the gas suppliers, of which it also has an implication in the power sector, because recently we experienced some reduction in generation availability, which is essentially because of non-gas availability.
The speakers at the forum are unanimous that gas is critical, but says identified gaps must be properly addressed to migrate the existing gas to the gas network code for development of the power sector and the nation at large. They promise to sustain collaboration to continue to mitigate gaps. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Now, critical stakeholders in petroleum downstream, particularly marketers, have appealed to the federal government to intervene on the problems bedeviling their industry as it relates with Petroleum Equalization Fund with a view to having an amicable solution. This came to the fore during an emergency meeting organized at the instance of Northern Independent Petroleum Marketers Forum held in Kano. Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports.
This is the assemblage of independent petroleum marketers from 19 northern states to discuss the prevailing adverse operations of Petroleum Equalization Fund. This is to take further steps in addressing challenges sweeping the progress of their members, such as rejection of way bills, multiple taxation, and illegal deduction of payments. Representatives from different depots across northern states unanimously acknowledged the efforts of President Muhammadu Buhari in ensuring adequate supply of petroleum products to downstream sector, calling on Petroleum Equalization Fund to maintain the status quo.
By law or by the policies of PEF, whenever you bridge a petroleum product from the bridging depot to the receiving depot, it is expected that within 2 weeks or at most 1 month, you are supposed to be paid immediately through their electronic platform. But unfortunately, it takes as long as 6 to 7 months, which is really affecting our operations, really affecting the capital of our members, and has pushed a lot of our independent marketers out of business.
On the issue of PMS price, Zarma assured of controlled price across board.
We are looking at how best we can be able to sit with the management of PPMC, the private depot owners, and the marketers to see how best we can be able to get an appreciable price where we can be able to purchase, bridge it down to the north, and sell it at affordable price to the public.
The meeting had in attendance A.A. Rano, A.Y.M. Shafa, among other independent marketers. Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Time now to join Adeola in Lagos for more on Network News.
Thank you, Kenny. The federal government is not just connecting the seaports to the rail network, but also expediting actions on getting into the terminals, which will invariably enhance cargo delivery and evacuation while saving cost and turnaround time. Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi gave the indication during an inspection visit to the Apapa corridor. Michael Olaleye reports.
Getting access into the Apapa corridor is one of the milestones recorded in the rail revolution. The determination to fast-track the evacuation of cargo is paramount in the blueprints. This unscheduled inspection by the Minister of Transportation is to ensure that barricades to the lane of trucks into the terminals are eliminated.
For new equipment, because this one is useless, that's what he said.
Sequel to now, it has been agreed by all stakeholders that these custom scanning sites will give way for trucks to enter the APML terminal in Apapa. Despite fulfilling necessary provisions, the tax seems huge than earlier emphasized.
You can actually commission this project without that, because it's not just one track. There are several tracks. That's one of the tracks that we are going to fix. So all we are doing is to make sure that out of the 3 tracks, 1 or 2 at least can get to the quay, so that we can commission, pending when the other ones are completed, as of these challenges we are meeting inside the seaport.
A meeting of key players in the rail subsector will be looking at options on the cards, especially means of navigating around the 750 meters available for trucks to get to the APML terminal if the custom scanning site is not removed to get the required 800 meters.
We have to get to the seaside so that the ship can load direct to reduce multiple handling of goods. And by so doing, you will reduce costs of the movement. Because presently, we now get ourselves involved in multiple handling. You have to pay for truck to take it to the railhead. That's why the minister is insisting that we must get to the seaside, and which is the best way to go for Nigeria.
The interest of key players here is how to kickstart freight operations on the standard gauge in an atmosphere devoid of any impediment to accessing cargoes. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NT News.
And now to environment matters. As Lagosians gradually progress into the rainy season, the urgent need for residents to desist from indiscriminate dumping of refuse to ensure free flow of water along canals and other channels has been re-echoed to avert flooding. Amaka Owo visited some prone areas within the metropolis and now reports.
These are men of the appropriate agency carrying out their daily routine of clearing accumulated refuse from this location close to a drainage on Adolo Deco in Victoria Island, Lagos. They claim the site is a designated spot for waste disposal.
It's about to relocate it to where that there is no gutter, because where they throw it here, it will now drop back to the gutter, and it's not good.
Not too far from Victoria Island is Agungi Inibejuleki area of Lagos. Perennial flooding is a challenge bedeviling the area. It has defied solutions, and residents attribute the havoc wreaked by flooding to indiscriminate disposal of waste that clog gutters and narrow canals in their axis.
Any little rail like this cannot move. Everywhere we flow of water.
There's no water now. We are enjoying now. If you have to come here yesterday and see something, well, you want to see what will happen between that, maybe May, June, July, August.
Residents also reiterate the need for attitudinal change on their part and intensified clearing of drainages by the government.
They can employ most of the unemployment to the refuse offices.
Following predictions from the Nigerian Meteorological Agency NIMET that some states, including Lagos, would experience normal to above normal rainfall in 2021. Experts reiterate that the time to take more precautionary measures against any flooding is now. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
And that's it from Lagos. We'll take another break. The news will continue thereafter. To stay with us.
Welcome back. The President General of Ohaneze Ndigbo, Professor George Obiozo, has continued to galvanize the people of the Southeast towards peaceful coexistence and the unity of the country. He again spoke to newsmen in Abuja on the Igbo's commitment to peace and security of the country. Emmanuel Ayimiro has the details.
Security, the 2023 Igbo presidency, and the economy are the three major issues that took center stage at a media interaction with Professor George Obiozo in Abuja. On the formation of the Ebubu-Agu, a zonal security apparatus by the Southeast governors to tackle insecurity, he says Ndigbo supports any genuine cause to arrest violence and insecurity in the zone.
The Igbo group, the governors, are targeting similar crime that is going around the country. Plus also their local special crime that is also endemic for their people.
Journalists also took up the group on how committed the Igbos are concerning uniting the country in view of agitation for 2023 Igbo presidency.
We love peaceful coexistence because that's what the businessman wants. Igbos want, indeed, peace that is shared and security that is for every citizen.
The forum provides an avenue for the body to respond to burning issues that have led to divergent opinions in different quarters. Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari rejoices with Shola Osunkeye, winner of CNN African Journalist of the Year 2006, as it turns 65. The president, in a statement, salutes the professional strides of Osunkeye, garnered over the last 3 decades with media houses like Concord Press, where he rose to edit the then best-selling weekend Concord. The president urges Osunkeye to continue sharing knowledge and experience with the younger generation of journalists. Now, Corps Marshal Federal Road Safety Corps Boboye Oyemi has tasked officers and men of the Corps to interface with the states and local government for regular and timely upload of vehicle information to enhance national security. He said this at a meeting with National Vehicle Identification Scheme desk officers in Abuja. Oyemi Ajayi has details.
Creation of National Vehicle Identification Scheme (NVIS) was to correct the haphazard motor vehicle registration process that existed before the establishment of the Federal Road Safety Corps. Year on year, the Corps has worked to achieve this despite a series of challenges. However, this meeting with the NVIS desk officers from 36 states and the FCT is to highlight the need for precaution and due diligence in the process and handling of data to achieve the accuracy required.
Since inception, over 500 stolen vehicles have been recovered by security agencies through the support of the platform, which provides real-time information and access to vehicle details required by security agencies for investigation purposes. Similarly, in order to ensure effective capturing of tricycles and motorcycles nationwide in the NVIS, management has put modalities in place to procure and deploy mobile capturing equipments.
The FRSC boss reviewed the procurement of a state-of-the-art onboard device towards tackling the issue of having one chassis number in two different vehicles. In Abuja, Oyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
We'll take another commercial break. Do stay with us. Let's now bring you a sports update.
Time to bring you up to speed with some trending sports stories. I am Bade Adeleye. Minister of State for Education Chukwuemeka Nwajuba has commended the Nigeria School Sports Federation for their Support School Sports initiative, which is aimed at ensuring that all primary and secondary schools in the country have sports as a core curricular activity.
Everything you have enumerated sounds fantastic. I would love to do that.
The essence of this visit is to say yes to school sport and also to ensure that we revive inter-house sports in our schools.
There is a ray of hope for grassroots sports talents in the Federal Capital Territory after certified instructors in gymnastics, badminton and basketball used the 2021 International Day of Sports for Peace and Development to expose kids, including those in IDP camps, to the sports.
We're trying to see how we can get our children's mindset back to doing sports.
To a bit of handball now, former national and international handball players under the auspices of Mega Veterans Association are ready to partner Handball Federation of Nigeria in grassroots developmental program. This was their submission after the conclusion of the body's electoral congress, where Seydou Jibril succeeded Mark Jacob as chairman of the 9-member executive committee.
If it means getting through the presidency to ensure that handball gets to the highest peak, we'll do our best.
And finally, Monday's sack of Jose Mourinho as Tottenham manager has continued to divide opinions among supporters of the club. Mourinho and his backroom staff leave the new White Hart Lane Stadium just 17 months after being appointed, with reports claiming his sack was only due to poor results. And that will be all on Sports Update.
The death has occurred of Princess Olayemi Dosunmu Laoshe, the matriarch of the Dosunmu royal dynasty of Lagos. Late Princess Dosunmu Laoshe, a direct descendant of Oba Dosunmu, the first and the former Lagos State Commissioner for Commerce and Industry, died on the 26th of March 2021 at the age of 76 after a brief illness. She is survived by children and grandchildren and other family members. Burial arrangements will be announced by the family at a later date. Today in history, 52 years ago, Nigeria's head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, took his wife, Victoria, in a state wedding that was commemorated with the special stamp, wishing the elder statesman and his wife more life and good health. And that's Network News tonight. Don't forget to be a star with NTA as we wage war against rape and rapists. My name is Kenneth Ima Abolike. Good night.